This is Samoa. We're traveling here to find out how these small islands in the Pacific became the center of one of the greatest mission-sending movements in history, and to see if God can do it again. Over the last months, we've traveled across the Pacific to see what's happening in this region of the world. And we start at this cluster of islands, located 4,000 kilometers from the nearest continental landform. It's here that God did something that you wouldn't expect. To understand what God did, we first need to look back to 1816, where we meet a 20-year-old tradesman about to be sent out to missions in the Pacific Islands. This is John Williams, and he's not your typical missionary. He isn't a trained scholar or successful preacher, but instead an ironworker from London. At a young age, Williams was radically converted and felt called to bring the gospel to the Pacific Islands.
1830, John Williams and the Tahitians and also the Cook Islanders brought the gospel to Samoa.
This is Uncle Fono. He's the former director here at the University of the Nations in Samoa, and I asked him how the gospel came to the Pacific.
The most interesting thing for me was the ship. He was sent a letter saying that there is no money and there's no ship to take him from Tahiti or the Cook Islands to Samoa to bring the gospel. So what he did was that he built a ship.
This is the Messenger of Peace, the vessel that John Williams used to sail westward from Tonga to Samoa. But this wasn't an ordinary ship. This 60-foot scooter was made with homemade nails from an abandoned anchor, sealant made from coconut fiber, and sails made from papyrus mats.
So to me, that's really amazing. When we don't have anything, we just move as God moves.
Among John Williams' crew was this man, Chief Fawea, a Samoan who had met Williams in Tonga. Together they sailed to Samoa to bring the gospel there for the very first time.
They came and went to the leaders of the nation. And I think that was why the impact was very fast and also really huge.
And this success is largely accredited to the knowledge and cultural insight that Fawea brought to the mission. I've been going through these old mission reports from the London Missionary Society and found something interesting. Within the first 100 years of the gospel coming to Samoa, they sent out 400 missionaries, which is about 3 to 4% of their entire population if you include women and children. If America sent out that many missionaries per capita today, that would be 3.5 million people, which means that this small nation in the middle of the Pacific Island became the greatest sending missions movement per capita in human history. And there's a reason why. We're here at a mission sending school in Samoa, not too different from the one that John Williams of YWAM started.
Hey, what's up everyone? My name is David and we are here at YWAM Samoa. We're going to give you a tour.
These guys are using the same model of indigenous-led training, sending, and multiplying that John Williams pioneered 200 years ago.
Hey guys, so this is our new pickleball court that we've made last year. We're over here in our outdoor kitchen. So if you see on this side, these are a lot of coconut husks right here. You use them for the fire. The science lab right here. We're gonna do a lot of experiments and laboratory experiments. And we're gonna have a lot of classes here.
The Samoans over here, they wanted to do more. They all wanted to go out to missions. So they started the training, missionary training. And then the Holy Spirit just moved people and then give them a desire to multiply what God has put in their hearts.
The secret to this model is both in its speed and its multiplication. John Williams trained a handful of islanders to teach in his schools. These teachers were highly effective because they understood the language and the culture. And these teachers would train islanders as they traveled back and forth from the field.
These guys would travel for days and weeks to the other islands. And the ships that we use today are really big, but the ships that they used then, they're very small. But they went, and many of them died in those nations, died in Vanuatu. Some of them died because of illnesses and diseases, but some of them also died because they were eaten by the local people of New Hebrides.
And they traveled in these canoes.
It's basically how to build a canoe. We built this, yeah. So there's 2 canoes. There's one on this side and the other side. Let's go to the other side.
Today we don't need to sail across the ocean, but there's something I find just fascinating about the islanders building these canoes and venturing into missions. I wanted to ask David about what it looks like today for his team. They've been visiting churches and schools, calling the next generation into missions. But instead of just interviewing him, I wanted to do something a little more interesting. All right, we are on our way to the water. really rainy. So, see what happens.
He was like, he's laughing because he's looking at me and he's like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm jumping on the canoe. He's like, what? I will ford my boat. I will go across the reef. And I will not come back. The whole thought of inviting the teams, we wanted to raise an awareness for people to realize, like, hey, we got Samoan missionaries all over the world. Going around the islands here in Samoa is one of the greatest blessings we've experienced so far, because
Oh, hi there. This is Editing Liam. I know what you're thinking. Getting into that little canoe with a big Samoan man, probably not the best idea. Rest in peace, David's mic. Oh my gosh. But as you watch me and David recover, I want to tell you about our 6-month discipleship school. If you want to go on an outreach just like this one, or you want to learn more about God than 7 years of church, I did the math, come and do our DTS school running this year. More information down below. Anyway, back to the video.
why the islanders? I believe for a nation so small, I believe that, I know this for a fact, a nation so small has done so much in the world. Not just Samoa, there are other Pacific Islands as well. What I've noticed is when it comes to missions, Samoa has literally a great impact. Like, it's in us, you know, the spirit to fight, the spirit of not giving up, the spirit of going beyond what is expected. Because in our whole DNA, we're just fierce warriors, you know?
David and his team saw hundreds of islanders say yes to the Great Commission. And although it's not quite what John Williams saw 200 years ago, there's still a sense that God is bringing a missions movement again to the Pacific Islands.
I believe God is doing it again. And I call it a tsunami wave of missionaries. And so we are to be prepared for that one.
Uncle Fono explained to me that this first wave of missions went only to the Pacific. Then this next wave of missions in the 1900s went further into Asia. But today, this third wave is being sent into this region of the world. They're believing that islanders and this legacy of an indigenous-led missions movement is the key for the gospel to break into this region of the world. And this got me thinking. John Williams' story ended when he was martyred bringing the gospel to one of the other islands. But his legacy and the storyline of missions in the Pacific is still alive today through hundreds of islanders who are saying yes to the call of missions. Islanders like Uncle Fono or David who are believing for another missions movement to come out of the Pacific. To see islanders trained and sent into some of the darkest places in the world.
We can eat anything, we can sleep anywhere, and we can live anywhere. And then when an islander is in love with Jesus, they're ready to die, you know.
And it's hard to say what this next wave will look like, but I can't help but feel that that same spirit of sacrifice and pioneering and ingenuity that brought the gospel across the Pacific 200 years ago is the same spirit that is going to bring the gospel to the nations today. Hey, if you liked this video, we have a bunch more coming just like it. We traveled to a remote island in Fiji, got to see thousands of young people say yes to Jesus in New Zealand, and met a missionary legend in Japan. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos.